welcome back, guys. We are now on chapter 6 of Into the Wild. The prophecy begins, and I will say this is a minuscule, extremely uneventful, very forgetful, could be deleted from the series, and it wouldn't matter. Chapter. What do you have to say?
I disagree. I feel like the prologue could have been deleted. But yeah, that's a
Where we
different debate for a
learn
different
about
time.
fire alone can save our clan.
I'm just saying, like, there's other ways to do that. But like, I feel like there's a little more going on in this chapter. It does, show some of, like, the bonding that has occurred and stuff like that. And it does introduce us, kind of pseudo sort of, to my favorite character in this book.
Which we'll see in the next chapter if they confirm it. I also agree that I was like, I'm pretty sure this is Yellowfang, but they don't even describe the color of the eyes.
No, they don't. But I do realize, like, in our last video, we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna meet Yellowfang, blah, blah, blah. It's like,
yes. I realized that when I was taking my notes, I'm like, we were so wrong. We were so excited about, yay, Yellowfang. And then I started taking the notes, I'm like, yeah, she's not in here. We're gonna have to say something.
I mean, technically, pseudo, sort of, you could say that towards the end of this, like, yes, like, we did technically kind of get maybe a glimpse of this lovely, absolutely gorgeous, very young she-cat. At heart, young at heart.
I don't think Yellowfang has, even as Yellow Kit, was ever young. She was just always old and grumpy and ragged, and apparently has a really bad breath because they mention it throughout the series probably over 100 times.
Yeah, so, like, she has, like, abscessed teeth.
Even in Starclan, that's a messed up thing. She's in Starclan and has rancid breath.
Poor Yellowfang.
Agreed. Tisk tisk. Yeah, well, before we get into it, do you have any other notes, comments, criticisms?
I actually do.
Yeah.
So it has come to my attention that you have seen my my comment on our last video, and you did not give me a heart, and I am very offended by this.
All I know is someone, I don't know who, commented on our last video and said never let her do the intro again or something like that. And
I agree with that.
I disagreed. So why would I heart it? I disagreed. I think
you can't disagree with the ghost.
You and your kid need to both be sitting there and you do the intro and she's just like, oh yes, welcome back, blah blah blah. She could talk, right?
No, she could be like, ah!
Exactly. Alright, I'll make sure whenever you hate on yourself to always love it from now on, okay?
Yes.
Alright, that's what
Thank you. Yes. I demand.
Good. I'm great at that. But, yeah, so normally I'm the one with a ton of notes. I'm hoping this time you're gonna take the lead on it, because I have a hair over a half a page of notes.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it's...
So, I mean, I can start with literally the first line of this chapter. So far we've had, so the prologue, we're on chapter 6 now, yes. So technically that's 7 different chapters worth of stuff that we will have gone through by the end of this.
Plus 6 chapters, so...
Yes.
It always throws me off every time, because I'm like, oh, we're at chapter 7, because it's the 7th video. Wait, nope, because prologue.
Yeah, welcome back to the 7th video, 6th chapter of the Burning Prophecy, Broken Prophecy?
Prophecy begins.
Lazy. Prophecy begins. I need to go to bed.
Broken Prophecy. Man, that's an intense name.
There's a lot of things to remember.
I mean, there's fire
and one
and
of the things
Star.
that I've never... Because when we were reading it, obviously these were the only books that were there, so there was no name to the series. It was the Warriors series.
Yeah.
And then I assumed everything else after that got names. I never knew that the first, 6 books got...
They were later on named this. They were not originally. But even then, what is it? The new prophecy, is that the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it just, which is why I think it's almost been more so fan dubbed. If I'm correct, I might be wrong about that. The prophecy begins. It is called
That
that all over the place, but I like to think that like fans are the ones who used to call it that rather than the original series, because that's what I call it. But yeah,
yeah, that makes sense. I just like it's something like when you first said it, I was like, what is she talking about? I had to go like look it up like
yeah.
after the fact.
TPB
Like,
in the video titles is the prophecy begins.
I guess it would help to have one of the videos up.
Yeah, if you ever look at them, it says like Warrior Cats TBP Into the Wild breakdown or chapter
I
whatever
saw it, but
breakdown.
yeah, I saw it the first time and I was like I guess that's like code or something. It's just speaking in
Do you know
like
how long
tongues
the
over here or
title that
whatever.
would be if I didn't abbreviate?
I saw someone else not abbreviate it, and it was very unsettling how long that
Exactly.
title actually was. But you're right. So like this whole thing's a tongue twister. Everything gets like super confusing because there's like a lot of like verbiage like up front and a lot of numbers. But we are now 6 chapters in. And for the last 5, we've basically started off the next morning, the next morning, the
Yeah, it's
next
been like
morning.
2 days pretty much for most of them.
And not only that, but like it's always, I think for the most part, it's like Rusty wakes up or Firepaw wakes up.
Yeah.
And like outside of the like flow through with Ravenpaw coming back into the camp and Redtail Stud and stuff like that. But now we see a departure from that. We don't have an idea outside the fact it's early morning, but they don't say it's early morning the next day. We don't have an idea of how much time has passed at this point.
Did you read the second sentence?
I meant in the first
First sentence.
sentence.
Okay, I was like, because literally
I meant
sentence
in the first
two.
sentence.
Sentence
Like,
2 says 2 moons had passed since he begun his training. It's like, hold
I
on.
know, but like,
Or all of your notes on
okay,
one
so
sentence.
no, more specific, one sentence.
Okay.
We see in the first sentence we were introduced. It is the next day, and you have to wake up
Yes.
or whatever. And now it's like, oh, early morning sunlight streamed down. It also is, I feel like, a departure from how most of the other first sentences are written just in general with like the more showy like detail and stuff like that. Like it feels like one of the other authors or the author that does more of like the detail work
Yeah.
put in more to this particular like chapter in general. I feel like this is more of a show you chapter than it is a tell you chapter.
Yeah. Which I did think, because literally as soon as I read the first sentence, I had the pen up. I was about to write a note about Rusty's out hunting by himself, an apprentice by himself. That wouldn't happen. But then they're saying it's been 2 months and this is his first time hunting alone. Like, okay, after 2 months, that makes sense then. He's having his first assessment. So I do like that they clarified that, because I was literally ready to write, like, oh, never mind. Let me change what I was writing to 2 moons later. Because we're trying to do our timeline so we know from when he joined. This is 2 moons later, which is 3 moons after that gathering, in which case he started having dreams about joining the Wildcats.
Yes.
Yes. um, up until he sees the fox, which is a good amount of time from now. Do you have anything else? Because it's just so much filler info. I had nothing.
I feel like a lot of it, like, I guess for like new, have we talked about at length? I feel like we assume like most people watching this would have like read the series and stuff like that at some point, but then there are also new readers in the series, so we might come across a few people like that. Have we talked about like terminology at length? I can't really remember.
Of like the seasons, you mean?
Yeah.
I think we kind of gently touched into it, but it goes, new leaf is spring. There's new leaves. Green leaf is summer. All the leaves are green. Leaf fall, right? Is that it? Leaf fall
I think so.
is fall. The leaves are falling, and then
Falling off the tree.
yeah, leaf bare. There's no leaves. the trees are bare. So, yeah, that's how it goes. It just springs. Yeah. What are you laughing at?
So when you said all the leaves are green, all I heard in the back of my mind was California Dreaming. All the leaves were brown and the sky was gray.
I was like, what? Did I say something that doesn't make sense? The leaves are green. It's green leaf. What do you mean? Yeah, that's
No,
how
all
it
the leaves
works.
are brown.
Oh, yes, it's leaf brown.
Well, I mean, that's better than what I thought. Getting back into the series after, oh, I don't know, like almost 20 years away from it. Um, I thought that Leaf Bear was no leaf
I mean, it's winter,
because
so
there's no
yeah,
leaves.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Leaf bear is like I feel like personally when things get interesting in the series because there's like sickness and hunger and all that. I find leaf bear chapters always very interesting. They actually struggle a bit, so yeah.
It's like a game of Risk.
Yes, I enjoy the struggle of cats in the wild.
Life's not a struggle, it's a wiggle.
Yes, yes, it's always a wiggle.
So I really don't have anything. I don't have anything up to the fox.
Well, my only thing was like in case someone didn't believe me before about the red dog smelling tail wiggling around, this confirms what he smelt back then was a fox. Like it literally
Yeah.
says he smelled it on his first visit to the forest. Since then, Lionheart had taught him it was fox scent. So it was a fox that he did smell. I'm hoping no one argued with me with that, but yes.
Was that me?
Probably. You could have been like, oh, maybe it was red tail. Since it
No,
was a
I
red
think I
tail.
literally said like I didn't realize he was tracking a fox.
Yeah, and I said the fox was the stupidest thing in the forest because how is there a helpless kitten following it and it's not noticing? Which again, he's watching this fox and I'm assuming it's the same fox because there's no way foxes are this stupid. It's got to be the same one and it's just completely oblivious to life in general.
In all fairness, when I was still living like at my parents' house, there was a fox that was dumb enough to like basically like walk up on me while I was on my hammock outside. And then when it finally like realized like it stopped maybe like 40 feet away or something like that, but it like realized it was like actually like on the hammock and I'm like a real person and stuff like that. It was just kind of like, oh,
It's like in high school, I had a friend. I won't say names. I don't know if you remember, but I had a friend up who his aunt raised foxes. So it was
hmm
just the cutest thing. They would take in like foxes who couldn't survive in the wild. Like they had one that was blind. They had one that broke a leg and like it didn't heal right. They had one that had some sort of like enzyme problem with its stomach where it couldn't eat meat kind of thing. But yeah, so
oh,
they were like pets. It was really cool to like just be like, oh my god, because foxes are my favorite animals. So like actually being able to go see living like foxes that were like dogs, like they'd come up and want belly rubs and stuff. Like it was really exciting. Yeah.
okay. So I like watching the Fox YouTube channels. Anyways,
What does it say?
I don't know.
um,
There's a song for that.
yes, that was the reference. um, I will say, right up here, it's a good thing this. So he's hunting a water vole, which because nothing happens in this chapter, I did research on water voles. And did you know that it's a conservation concern? Water voles are. So like in some areas they're not super endangered, but kind of becoming endangered. And I like to feel like it's because of clan cats. Mm-hmm. They're hunting them into dangerous times. So if we lose
How
water
dare they?
voles, just know it's because of Fireheart, Firestar, Firepaw, whatever he is.
How dare he?
Agreed.
I
And that
will say that this water vole moment totally crushed my theory that I may or may not have shared in the last video, where if he's dreaming of hunting something, it's because he's going to hunt it and like kill it next. Like it'll be his next successful hunt. And his last dream that we know of, he was chasing a squirrel up a tree.
correct, but he doesn't successfully get this. It gets away.
True.
So let's see. I think he does catch something in here. I feel like it's a mouse, but we'll see. I don't totally remember, but we will check. They do go over another part of the warrior code. The clan must be fed first. So this is kind of a weird thing. It doesn't matter if you both leave at the same time. If you're on a dawn patrol, you can eat. If you leave at the exact same time but you go out to hunt, you can't eat until you catch food, which I think is kind of messed up. I feel like no one should be able to eat. Either eat before you go, or no one can eat till they get back, because why does it matter like what you're doing? You're working for the clan, so you should have the same rules. Right? If you were like on neighborhood watch for your neighborhood versus if you're the one going to pick up the McDonald's up the street, does that mean that if you're on the neighborhood watch, you can be snacking, but if you're going to pick up the food from McDonald's, you can't have a few fries out of the bag?
I mean, when you put it that way, I'd be kind of mad. I do think that got taken out of the warrior code, though. Like the official warrior code.
If it's not reworded officially in the warrior code, then it's still like a expectation. Because I just read something about it the other day where, like, not even the other day, today, about, I think it was Ivy Pool, who was out hunting with Dove Wing. She was like, "Here, have a bite." And she's like, "I can't. Like, we're out hunting. We can't eat anything." It's just, I don't know. I just thought, so like, it's interesting.
It is in the warrior code very differently. Like the clan must be fed first versus I think it's like the third one or whatever. Like elders and kids must be fed before apprentices and warriors. Unless they have permission, apprentices may not eat until they have hunted and fed the elders.
I don't think it's just apprentices. Even warriors can't do it later on.
That's what's on the warrior's official website.
Yeah, it just... The warrior code also fluctuates a whole bunch. It's really hard to tell.
That's what they... So just to clarify, like, that's literally what's listed on warriorcats.com. So I'm gonna call that canon.
Okay, fair enough. Because we are making a video about the warrior code, which is another... Between the warrior code video we're trying to make and the Dark Forest video we're trying to make, you would not believe the amount of loopholes in here. We both have constant headaches. She's working on the warrior code video, I'm working on the Dark Forest video, and it's just constant, like, well, there's this loophole, there's this one, this doesn't make sense, this is different for this character in specific. Like, it's unbelievable. But you guys will see when the video comes out.
The warrior code one's gonna have to get split up into like different videos for like context reasons. That needs to be
like at least 4 videos, because if you were to split it up into 2 videos for the code, the old code, and then 2 videos for the new code. Half and half kind of thing.
So I'm thinking more from like the actual like warrior code itself, because like I feel like when I looked it up, like I think only one other person covers the warrior code, but it's more of like an opinion based thing rather than like this is the warrior code, this is what was established. So like going over like what was talked about in the books versus what canonically became the original warrior code when it changed in the series and stuff like that, what it changed to, and then going over different nuances about the warrior code, like who was supposed to like instill the warrior code. So was it Starclan? Was it the original 5 clans? Stuff like that. Like, where did that come from? And then going over, because I thought it'd be interesting, cats who've broken the warrior code, which I feel like
we need to do like a dive into each character cat. And how many times they've like the main ones. Like, we could do a whole video about all the times Fireheart breaks the code. But I don't want to get too deep into it right now, but like there's a lot that even Starclan cats were, if they were the ones who were supposed to enforce the code, they break the code constantly. Even as Starclan cats, they break the code. Like, it's infuriating.
And that was the thing. It's like what like I wanted to make, or like make it a point to touch on like what the Warrior Code is actually like should have actually been, like what I personally feel like it should have actually been.
Yeah. Pretty much between these two videos, the one we're trying to make these like build up to is essentially everything wrong with Starclan, because everything wrong is because of Starclan, and we are the Starclan critic, okay? We are going to judge them because
We are going
they
to criticize.
yes, we will criticize the Starclan
Constructively though.
somewhat. I have things to call them out about. But anyways,
Yes.
um
So we are he's seen the vole.
yes, it got away because of, as it says, there was a loud rustle that scared it away. Then, because of the fox smell, he can't tell exactly who it is because it smells like fox. Understandable. Okay.
Of course.
Then here's undergrowth rustle, and then a twig snap. So whoever this is making a lot of noise. They are loud. So, and he's like, from the noise it's making, it must be big. Insulting, but okay. So he climbs up a tree, which I think is a cool thing because they don't do this too often until I think near the end of Omen of the Stars. But later on, they do kind of almost pick up like SkyClan tactics of attacking from trees. Like they drop down from the trees, which they do in the battle with Shadow Clan in Omen when Russet Fur dies. But this is something that SkyClan is known for, so I just think it's kind of interesting that he's already using that tactic. Um, and then we get up to the thing I probably complain about most in this book. It doesn't happen ever again, but this is why I find this book almost funny. They sound out the noises cats make, and we have a grar that comes out of Greypaw. Gosh, there's so many of them in this chapter and the next chapter, but grar, just what kind of cat makes that noise?
Clan cats.
Yeah. But oh, sorry, that was Firepaw who said Garar as he attacked. He's not even being stealthy this part. He's Garar, just lunges down on top of him. And I do like, because I actually really like Greypaw / Greystripe. A lot of people apparently hate on him, but I think he's cool. And it turns into, "Wah, what's that?" And then he shoots straight into the air, followed by ambush morale. Like, what is happening?
I'm sure. I'm trying to remember who I listened to for this part because it's just the way she reads it is absolutely hilarious.
I always listen to McLeod Andrews unless I can't find his video. But yeah, just even then, like, Greypaw, he just like had someone land on top of him and just ambush, just freaking out about it. Like, I literally have written on here Grar and ambush morale on my notes. But
The
yeah.
Silver Sunshine 2012 is who I listen to, and I think she ends up voicing the Warrior Cats fan dub, Fire and Ice, like the like main like narrations and stuff like that later on.
Oh, gotcha.
The way she does it, like the way she reads that is hilarious.
I do like how lighthearted this whole thing is, but like it makes me laugh, so I do appreciate that. Like, it's stupid, but it's also like, okay, we got this one. If you were to think of it as like this equivalent, probably like a fifth grader who's like, okay, I'm gonna go out there and prove myself. Oh man, someone's breaking in. There, you gotta be the tough guy, and going to like almost like Home Alone kind of thing, where they just go to attack whoever walks at the door, and then ends up being like their brothers. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's that kind of thing where it's funny, but yeah. Any comments on that whole chunk there?
I think I like and I know we'll end up like revisiting this in the next chapter. But I do like the difference between what happens here and what happens there.
Yes. There's still noises
It's
in
a
that one
definite,
though.
huh?
There's still noises in that one. They
I
still do
know
like a
it's
meow wow wow wow, I believe is the one from that one that I keep quoting.
yes, it
Yeah.
is. But
I'm gonna make a shirt that just
it's
says meow wow wow on it and just Yellowfing's face. They even like sound out the noise of like the wind being knocked out of him of oof. Like
oof,
UUFFF dash FF.
oof.
Oof. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah, because he had the breath knocked out of him because Greypaw's bigger. He's fluffy, and he flips over. And apparently, according to this, from the noise it's making, it must be big. So Greypaw's a thick boy, and he rolls over and squishes him, and he's like, "It's me, Firepaw." So they calm down, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, you almost tore me to shreds." And Greypaw says that he's like, "What do you mean I was creeping up on you? That was my best stealth crouch." I will go back a page to, let's see, there was a loud rustle in the ferns behind him that scared away a fern. Then we have the undergrowth rustled again. It was louder now, followed by a twig snapped with a sharp cracking noise, and that is Greypaw's best stealth crouch, whatever he says.
He hasn't
Greypaw
really
is not
improved in
stealthy.
2 minutes.
Yes, he's not stealthy at all. He really is a lopsided badger at this point, which he claimed to have been last chapter. He's gone backwards.
I mean, I always
Actually, he
picture him
does
as
say
being like
it.
this big, like floofy gray cat. So, and just like kind of like, I don't know, class clowny and stuff. So,
Okay, I didn't even realize this until I jokingly said that. Last chapter, when they're in the Sandy Hollow practicing, Greypaw says, "Well, I'm more lopsided than a one-legged badger," mewed Greypaw, breaking off from his careful stalking to stagger comedically across the clearing. Now we have stealth. You still stalk like a lopsided badger. Like, I know it's like literally 2 pages later, but that is kind of funny that like he did it jokingly, and now that's how he's stalking.
it is a very lighthearted scene. I appreciate it.
Yup. And then they're play fighting, and once again we have the actual oof. U F F dash FF, the exact same spelling again. uh because we couldn't figure out the noise it would make of a I mean, everyone's had the wind knocked out of them. It's that noise.
Some people might make other noises. You never know.
I remember I fell off a bunk bed and was just like like trying to gasp in it's air, but it's not like that. It's more like a, I don't know, if you're like play fighting with someone and they belly flop on you kind of thing.
Oof.
Oof, yes. Gosh, where were we? Oh yeah. Okay, this part is actually pretty good. So Greypaw overpowered him and held him down. Firepaw let his body go limp, and then Greypaw says, "You give up too easily," and loosened his grip. As he did, Firepaw sprang to his feet, firing Greypaw off his back and into the undergrowth. This, I would say, is Firepaw Heart Stars, like,
Signature move.
signature. That's where, yeah, signature move. He uses this all the time. He beats Yellowfang with it, I believe, in the next chapter. He kills
Yep.
Scourge with this. He teaches it to other cats. Later on, other cats in ThunderClan use this move, but it's almost cowardly, I gotta say, because you pretend to give up and then you attack. It's almost like an actual war that's illegal, where you wave a white flag to surrender and then attack anyways. That's like a war crime, but he's doing it here like it's no problem. But it is his signature move.
Did he get it from somewhere?
Being a kitty pet.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, there's nowhere else he would have gotten it from. And then, he quotes Lionheart, "Surprise is a warrior's greatest weapon," which, yeah, it is surprise. It just almost seems cowardly because you're letting the enemy think that they won. I don't know. It It goes back and forth. It just seems kind of like a wimpy way to win.
And when you think about it, like all the best, like you take it into like
That's a sucker
what are those
punch.
shows like Chicago PD and stuff like that, or like NCIS and stuff. Like there's plenty of times where like people like give up or like pretend to be a certain way and then like overpower the bad person or the
Yeah.
opponent.
I mean, I guess when it comes to survival, it's one thing. Speaking of, what do you say, Chicago PD? Um, my mom was on Chicago Med, so if you watch that show, she's about to be on it again for the fourth time as an extra. Keep an eye out.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
I think I meant Chicago Fire. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's not on Chicago Fire. She's on Chicago Med. She plays a nurse in the background.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't watch it, but I'll make an exception if she
I
can
have
tell me what
pictures.
episode
I'll
she's
show
in.
pictures.
Okay.
She's the one she most recent one because she just got back last week was aired today actually.
Oh.
Yeah. So okay, I have a problem with Grey Paw's mission here. He says,
I knew that.
"Sorry, what?"
I was gonna say I knew that there would be something nitpicky about this.
He says, "Shouldn't you be heading to meet the patrol on the Wind Clan border? I thought you had to give them a message from Blue Star." First off, they don't share a border with Wind Clan. He'd be going to Four Trees. It's River Clan, Shadow Clan. They do not have Wind Clan as a border. They gotta cross through Four Trees. And even if it was, okay, run up to like that section by Four Trees kind of thing, he's having them meet at the Great Sycamore. I will show a map of this again. The Great Sycamore. Here, we'll do this. This. I'm doing this backwards. This is Wind Clan. This is the Great Sycamore. I think he's supposed to meet up with a patrol on the Shadow Clan border. I don't think it's Wind Clan. I think it's a typo. Because the Great Sycamore, this road is the Shadow Clan border. It makes sense for it to be Shadow Clan. Right?
Yeah, I mean you're wrong.
They're like, hey, yeah, run through Four Trees to Wind Clan and then double back and run all the way the hell back and tell them to meet there. Like, no, I think it's supposed to be Shadow Clan. I don't think it's necessarily like that they didn't think it through. I think they spelt or typed the wrong thing. That's all. So I'm gonna pretend that they're supposed to be meeting the Shadow Clan border. Because right after that, they even say about the reason why they're meeting somewhere. Seems that some Shadow Clan cats have been prowling around. Blue Star wants to check things out. So yeah, it would make sense for them to meet at the beginning of the Shadow Clan border, which is where the Great Sycamore is.
If that's the case, why, when they're already close by later on, doesn't Greypaw just continue on to meet the patrol? I think that they were supposed to meet at Four Trees.
He does take off to go to meet them. I'm thinking it's more so they've been wandering so far that they're near Four Trees when they've been hunting, that they're over there and he has to double back to Great Sycamore. They never mention anything about the Wind Clan border from now on. It's not even a border. It's not. Like, there's nowhere to patrol. It's River
Four
Clan.
Trees?
Okay. The only thing I can maybe justify... No, actually that's wrong too. I was gonna say maybe it's by the falls, but we know that's River Clan territory because that's why the River Clan attacks them in White Claw dives, because they're by the falls. And guess what? The falls is this gap here between Four Trees and the river. It doesn't make sense. It's not a border. let us know what you guys think, but I will. It's like you being convinced that Tiger Claw attacked Ravenpaw. I'm convinced this is just wrong. That like, it can't be that. They don't have a border with them.
She's gonna die on this mountain. It's
Yes,
not a hill, it's a mountain.
I will die on the non-existent Wind Clan border. Like it's not a thing. Ah.
Yeah, I've read that when I was taking notes, and I was like, I'm not even gonna write it because I just know it's gonna come up at this point. So.
Like I have majority of my notes because I have like 4 sections. I've gone over all of it, but about how this cannot be true. Like, but the first thing was like, do you mean Shadow Clan border? Like, it's not Wind Clan.
I'm surprised you didn't make a PowerPoint for it.
Oh, it'll come about how there's no Thunder Clan, Wind Clan border until the new territory.
Which is where we spend the majority of like literal existence. So
Correct. Which because I'm re-listening to all of them, which by the way, I'm now on Final Hope, whatever the last book of Omen of the Stars is. I'm starting to know that one better. So yeah.
woohoo.
Yes. But yes,
It only
I had to
took you
vent.
how many books? We're not gonna go over that. Anyways. So the non-existent
14?
Wind Clan border.
14, I think. 2 from the New Prophecy, the last 2 Twilight and Sunset, or whatever it's called, all of the Power of 3, and all of Omen of the Stars so far.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there's 2 more series based in there, and they're working on the 3rd series now. And then the other series I haven't read is the one about the past, the Dawn of the Clans or whatever it is. But yeah, this is gonna be a long podcast of like long going podcast, I should say. At some point, we gotta start doing like 2 videos a week because we'll never get through this. We'll be like 60s and it'll be like, okay, now Omen of the Stars.
But next week we'll just set aside like a few nights and like just power through a bunch of these.
Yeah.
Get going.
I'm fine with doing the talking. It's the editing that's killed me. If anyone is an editor, send me your prices. You've seen the work I do on them. I don't expect much. Send me your price, please. But yeah, so then we have I had lost where I was.
For what it's worth, I tried.
The
audio file corrupted.
I know how you would have to do it, but you'd have to pay for the program. That's a problem. We'll discuss that after. But so I think
discuss it in the after show.
Yes, I think this is something different. Currently, where is it? Because I read this part like 4 times trying to figure it out. Firepaw nodded without enthusiasm as his belly gave a rumble. He'd probably have to make 3 or 4 hunting trips before he had caught enough prey to eat. Later on, cats come back with like a mouse and a finch or something, and they can eat. But he's saying he has to make 3 to 4 patrols to do this, which does not seem correct. For especially since he's on his assessment, like maybe he's just really trying to prove himself and really wants to show like this is how, like his own self goal kind of thing. Like, oh, I'm not gonna be happy until I get this amount, which I would believe more so for him than anything else. Because even if it's 4 patrols and he caught 1 thing each time, which they show that they bury it and come back, they do that in this chapter. You could carry at least 2, probably 3 things of prey in your mouth at a time. So 3, 6. He wants 12 pieces of prey before he thinks he can eat 1 thing.
That or he's gonna carry them 1 at a time.
Yeah, which
could
is just
also
bad.
be the fact that their stores for whatever reason were depleted and that's just not explained in the chapter, or they do want to make him look like an overachiever.
I think he's trying to overachieve. Like it's his first assessment. He's trying to do good. Like it's his first time out alone. I think he's just, I'm hoping, because later on like cats will come back with like 2 mice and they'll be like, oh, good job. Like one
I
mouse
am
fills
curious.
them.
It just dawned on me. Dawned.
Dawn help.
Firepaw and if Firepaw's aware that Greypaw has a message to deliver or whatever, then why wasn't the patrol aware?
Maybe.
They were the Dawn Patrol, right? So they would have left around the same time that Firepaw would have left.
So
So how would Firepaw know of this message?
I don't know if it's the Dawn Patrol, but I do know that the information she got means that the cats went to Shadow Clan border, found out about it, came back, told her around the same time that I guess Firepaw and Greypaw were leaving the camp, or Greypaw maybe hung around before he left for a bit. But yeah, there's a weird time gap there. This is a very slow patrol to Wind Clan, which at most is the border of Four Trees. They're going all that way to walk along 5 feet and come back, and they're just very slow about it.
So in our quest to put together a timeline, we need to figure out who was on patrol or which patrol this is that he's supposed to be talking to and try and figure out.
Well, yeah, but it's been 2 moons since we heard anything. We're not gonna know who that is.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't think you could possibly figure it out. It could be literally any cat.
Maybe not like who, but like which patrol. Like, there's obviously like multiple patrols. You know what I mean? Yeah, like.
So at the beginning it says early morning sunlight. So yeah, it should be the Dawn Patrol who is there, which means someone either left at the same time or maybe the Midnight Patrol picked it up on their way back. But even that, midnight to dawn, that's like 6 hours.
They should have been aware.
Yeah.
It's not very. Anyways, holes in the plot. It thickens.
Yes, the littlest things are gonna drive us crazy. This is supposed to be a nothing chapter. We're like 40 minutes in. We've gone through 3 pages, 4 pages.
It's okay.
Yeah. Also, I don't like that they say that the fox has an ugly snout. I love foxes. Foxes are beautiful. They're not ugly. This is a beautiful fox. The picture I'm putting up on screen right now, they are not ugly.
To a cat, they might be.
Cats have bad taste.
Well, they don't like anything that looks like a dog, and well, let's face it, foxes
like
kinda...
more feline than they do canine.
Personally, I do too, but I feel like if you asked a cat, they would tell you otherwise.
Next time I see a cat, I'll ask them what they think of foxes. And again, it's another stupid fox that doesn't even notice them and wanders off. So yeah, I'm hoping it's the same fox and they don't think all foxes are this stupid. But then Firepaw asks what a badger looks like. So depending on where in the world you are, there's a ton of different kind of badger. So like some badgers are just short, gray, vicious, and will like go and attack lions and stuff. It's what, honey badger, I think. They're the scary ones. This is a European badger. They're the ones that are short, stocky, and have black and white stripes on their face. But those are the badgers that are in the United Kingdom. So this is a European badger.
It's basically what most people, I would assume, think of when they think of a badger.
Have you seen the videos of badgers attacking lions? They are terrifying.
Okay, well, honey badgers are a little different, and they look more like...
They look like rabid, like toilet brushes. Oh, well, yeah, I guess.
They look like rabid skunks. They look like really mean skunks.
Yes. I like skunks, though. They're cute, too.
They are. I didn't realize in, like, a lot of states you could apparently have them as pets.
Yes. You can also have ones that have, that don't have their spray gland, so you don't have to worry about being sprayed by it. But I believe it's painful, so I would not, I have to check, but I think it's like declawing a cat. It gives them severe anxiety.
Yes.
But they say that badgers are bad-tempered, lumbering animals that are less likely to raid the nursery than a fox. And yet in Twilight, an entire horde of badgers raid the ThunderClan camp. So, Greypaw's wrong here. They've never been raided by foxes. They have been raided by badgers.
He got the lumbering part, though.
Yes. They do lumber.
I mean, just in the way he hunts. But anyways,
let's see, and then we get to the Thunder Path. But did you have something to say?
no, I'm gonna let you finish what you were saying about the Thunder Path, because mine was
Oh, about the Thunder Path. So if people don't know, the Thunder Path is the road, and they say it because to them it sounds like thunder on a path. And the cars they call monsters because they're just these big things that they think eat two legs and carry them in their belly, and all that. But I actually really like the description they have of the Thunder Path, where they say it is warm and a little sticky, and like if you ever walked barefoot on like a road, it is like from the asphalt, it is a little sticky. So I do like that little detail there, like a sidewalk versus a road. You can tell which one's stickier when you walk on it.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You were saying
Um, just before that, but there was a squirrel who broke cover.
Oh, you're right. So then we get to the road. And I love the description of the road because they say that it's like warm and sticky, and like if you've ever walked on like asphalt barefoot versus like sidewalk, you know that like roads like the like are like they feel sticky like in the like summer when you're walking on it, like it just sticks kind of
yeah,
thing.
like the tacky sort of.
I do like that description. And we had what was it
we had a squirrel.
Yes, okay. So
before that,
yes, they say that they were hunting a squirrel, but wait, did they catch it?
No, it ran up a birch tree. They lost it.
So the theory is no longer proven. They're bad at hunting too. They lost a water bowl and a squirrel.
It went up the tree, so maybe that was what the dream was like he's chasing it up a tree into the highest branches, and like they lose the squirrel, they couldn't catch it.
You are right. Okay, we have to pay attention to his seemingly unimportant dreams to see if they have like any of the same like symbolism kind of thing in there, because this is clearly this is squirrel flight getting away from no, she gets away from nothing. But still. Oh, yeah, and then when he's looking at the other side, we have what might be the first confirmation of Yellowfang. I'd have to read the next chapter. I haven't got there to know for sure. But he says, was that a pair of eyes glinting out of the forest on the other side? He sniffed the air, but smelled nothing except for the stench of the great gray path. The eyes on the other side were still shining in the shadows. Then they blinked slowly. Which, if you ever pay attention to any video about, like, cat psychology, they say if a cat slowly blinks at you, that means they trust you. I don't think that's what this means here. She literally tries to eat him in the next chapter.
I don't think that they were thinking about that when they wrote
cat psychology. Who doesn't think about these things?
The authors.
This is like a day-to-day thought. What do you mean?
I mean, yeah, like I would always blink at my cat, but
yeah, you gotta do the slow blink, and then they slow blink back at you, and it's just a very loving moment.
No, normally I'd have claws somewhere in here and might get bit a few times.
Just have a staring contest. They definitely won't think you're challenging them.
No, thank you.
Yeah. You were
I
saying?
also want to point out literally the very end of this chapter, like, oh, you know, like, I'm gonna have this great story to tell Dustpaw and Sandpaw when I get back. Like, sir, you saw a pair of eyeballs, not a whole warrior.
I have notes about that because, like, Sandpaw and Dustpaw have been to gatherings. They've met ShadowClan cats. Like, they're not going to be impressed by this. Which, I mean...
Yeah, but, like, at a gathering, you're protected.
Yeah.
versus like out on patrol and stuff like that. So yeah, he thinks he's
A
big
wild
big
Shadow
stuff.
Clan warrior has appeared.
Pokemon. What would you like to do? Would you like to fight it, throw a Pokeball, or run away?
He fights it with a Meow Wow Wow.
Meow.
Yeah, which I mean, that actually might be more confirmation that this is Yellowfang though, because it's one set of eyes. Which if it was a patrol or something, there'd be multiple cats there. It's just him.
That's true.
Maybe it's more confirmation. Maybe.
Maybe. Feel like I would very much like a few like shirts from like this particular chapter. One of them is the more likely it was following you, you idiot. Like
Yes, with like a foxtail.
that is great. Yeah.
And
And
the
then
Meow
the
Wow
other
Wow.
one. That's the next one. Then the other one needs to be you mouse brain fool. Put that on the back of it.
Yes. Well, we're gonna
And a
make all
dumb
sorts
looking
of
orange
beautiful
cat.
merch. Just like a derp star. We need to make derp star.
Yes.
Speaking of making cats, though, I've shown you we're going to make this a video at some point. But as you guys may know, we've been doing a name that cat thing at the end of each video. We've taken it a step further. So we have pretty much made 4 clans on our own. So these are not just normal clan cats. They're kind of like fantasy. They have a little bit more magic in what they can do and how they look and all that kind of stuff. Not drastic. There's not like flying cats or anything like that, but they're a touch more fantasy. And we have got the leader, the medicine cat, the deputy, queen's kits, everything for the 4 new clans. We're going to do a video where we deep dive into the history of the clans, the cats of the clans, what we plan to do with this and everything. But if you want to check out the all the clans we have so far and just give your opinion and everything, the link will be below. It's the Starclan Critic website, which it's not going to be just about that. We're also going to have like links to our videos. We're going to have polls. We're going to have a whole bunch of stuff about the channel. So it's going to be Warriors related with a dash of our clans. But just as a little hint towards them, we have Omen Clan, Shrouded Clan, Lichen Clan, and Fell Clan. So check them out. Let us know what you guys think. I think they're pretty darn cool. We worked really hard on them. But do you have any closing notes?
Lichen Clan is my favorite.
Fell Clan is my favorite. They're really cool. I like their story and the little hints towards things. We have a few little mysteries built in there as well. So if you could figure out, we got 3 mysteries in there at the moment. So if you can figure them out, let us know, and maybe we'll let you name a cat next time. If you can figure out any of the 3 mysteries, the first person to figure out any of the 3, we'll let name a cat. There you go. What? Besides you, I know you guessed one, but you don't get to. No, you can't name it.
Why not?
It's not how this works. But
Boo.
we're also starting today. You guys won't see this because it's got to be edited and everything. But starting today, we're also going to be uploading, or not uploading, but we're going to be doing live streams where we just discuss things. So if you want to follow us on Twitch, I will also put my Twitch below, my main Twitch, and follow us on there, and then you can join in. We're just literally just gonna be sitting in Twitch and talking about warriors, theories, family trees, that kind of stuff, and we'll try to do it every time after we podcast. So which is gonna be, for the most part, if it's not gonna be that day, we'll give you a heads up. But for the most part, it should be every Wednesday around
midnight.
10 to midnight Eastern time. We'll try to figure out an exact time later, but for now it's gonna be around then. But yeah, I think that's it.
See, oh yeah, so I did so my main channel on YouTube is all about like plants and crafting and stuff like that. You had a great idea to do a thing where we grow marigold and other herbs that get used through the series and stuff like that. Yeah, so I purchased marigold seeds and I chose the French marigold variety because I was like, oh, Europe, French, it goes hand in hand. No, it doesn't. It's not the same, I don't even think, family
Oh.
of flower. And I am trying to figure out right now where to source what they call so in Europe where this book would take place, it's swamp marigold that grow there, would be like the common name for it, which I don't think we have in America like at all.
So,
And if we have, it's an imported variety.
might want to check it, cause just because they are there doesn't necessarily mean the herb is from there. Based on the research, so maybe if we read more into it and figure out where marigold in the books grow versus where they're finding it, where swamp marigold would be, because I feel like they say that might help you figure out exactly which type it is.
Yeah, I mean, when I was looking and stuff like that, like, so swamp or marsh marigold, so it's Caltha palustris.
Paw.
Palustris, yes. I don't have my glasses on, so it doesn't really help that I'm staring at a screen way far away from me. Basically a king cup
Well,
flower.
to explain it for you guys who don't know what exactly we're trying to do with it, for people who are interested in, was it herbology, I guess. We're trying to do something where she's good with plants. I personally could kill a plastic plant. I'm not good with plants. So we're going to be doing something where she's going to try to, as it's growing, take pictures kind of thing, so we could do like a time lapse of it and try to figure out, okay, what would this plant need to literally grow in the wild for the cats to be able to handle it, kind of thing. So it's fun research, because her main channel is about plants and all that kind of stuff, so it's just a way to tie the two together. But yeah, if you're interested in that, let us know, and maybe we could do an entire video dedicated to trying to explain this more. Yes.
Yes. In the meantime, I will be growing regular marigold that we have readily available in the United States.
It's fine by me. I think marigold poppy seeds are probably the two main ones in the first series, so. Oh no.
You're not gonna get the poppy seeds. I can grow like a California poppy, but that can't grow the kind that they grow in the book.
I want the seeds that make you go numb.
I've heard that they are very common in the Middle East.
I'm pretty sure they're illegal in a lot of places in America. So.
They are, although I just recently found out there's like a juice that they have in like Australia and could potentially have it in Europe too. But like it's totally like outlawed in this country, and I don't know why.
Raven
but like
Hazel
apparently it's like
the law, growing a plant.
It's like grapefruit or like plum, but like it has like this like really unique flavor, and it's like a almost like a grape colored juice. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Now that you're mentioning it, never really described the poppy plant or actually going out and collecting poppy seeds. We have no idea where these things come from. So
it's a gift from Starclan.
Yes.
It's the one good thing Starclan's done.
Well, either way, we will get more into this when we start having herbs mentioned. So far, not a single herb has been mentioned in the series, but we're going to be actually deep diving. That's not herb. It's medicinal, but it's not herb. But we will be doing a deep dive into all of them, and the cats take it. Anyways, have a good night, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Until next time.
Yep. Bye-byes.